Hello, everybody, and welcome to part 2 of my Kauai, Hawaii vacation slash runcation journey. We visited the Garden Island, which is the uppermost island of the chain of Hawaiian islands, Kauai, and it was absolutely beautiful. Now, the main reason I did go to Kauai, Hawaii was to be able to check state number 43 off of my running list. I needed to do a half marathon in Hawaii, and this is the island I chose to do it on. So on Friday morning, I got up super early and went to Kapaa Beach Park, where the half marathon that I was running was being held. At 4:30 in the morning was the start time. So I got to see all the beautiful sunrises and all the beautiful scenery from literally dark till dawn. At one point on the race, it was so dark. I couldn't see anything. We actually had headlamps and stuff as we was going out, and I saw two little eyes looking back at me. Thank goodness when I got close enough to it, I realized it was just a kitten and nothing more. But at first, I was a little freaked out. But after the daylight broke through and we could actually see the scenery, I got to see all the beautiful glory of Kauai again. Just at the park section, it was like a long running trail along the water on one side and a road on the other. At one point in this little area where we did a turnaround, some of the other runners said they had actually saw some whales breaching out in the distance. I never did see it during the race. I missed that excitement, but I got to see some beautiful scenery. This was an absolutely beautiful race. It was just an out and back. As you can see here, the runners are just running out. The girl in front of me in the pink there, that's my friend Wendy. We just walked it together. I was not trying to set any records. I just wanted to enjoy the day and the beauty. And of course, get that bling bling. So state number 43 is done. After the half marathon was over, I decided to go do a little touring of a couple of falls. The first one we stopped off was Wailua Falls. You could park on the side of the road and walk back to it and check it out, take some pictures or video there, and that's what we did. Just stayed there for a little while, got our little photo op in, and then on to the next falls. Our next stop was at Opakaya Falls, which is just a few miles around the bend, basically. These falls are 151 feet tall and 40 feet wide. They were absolutely beautiful. I think this island had so many waterfalls. It was just, they were everywhere. We only got to see these two on our little, part of this day, which was fine because after a half marathon, I was pretty tired. But we saw those and then headed out for some more adventure. Our next stop was Hanapepe. The little town of Hanapepe is more known for its arts museums up and down the little strip and this swinging bridge. I think this is the highlight of the attraction of the small town because there's not really a whole lot to it. And after you see the swinging bridge, you're pretty much done unless you really like art. There was just a little strip through their little town that had 4 or 5 different art shops on each side. And I think maybe a restaurant or two, and maybe a liquor store. But other than that, that's all that was there, and the swinging bridge. So we decided to take a walk across the bridge and back and just look at some of the scenery before we headed down to where we thought we was going to our next adventure. We were supposed to have a sunset cruise this night, but it ended up with the storm that had come through earlier. The waves were too choppy for us to actually go out to the Nepali coast, which we were supposed to. So instead, we just decided to go ahead and tour around and see some other stuff. Since we weren't going on a sunset cruise, might as well make the most of it. Next stop here is the Spouting Horn Blowhole in the little town of Poipu. Now, this was something that I actually wanted to go do and see. I don't know why. This just looked like it would be awesomely cool, and I did think it was awesomely cool. There was a big group of people there. They bring tour buses in, so there was quite a few people here, so I just tried to get up as close as I could and get a little video of it. But this just intrigued me. I thought this was so cool, how when the waves would come crashing through, this thing would blow water up out of its hole. The little things that amuse me. Oh, well. Anyhow, we enjoyed this for a little while before heading on out and seeing some other things, but this was one of the things I just put on the list I had to see just to say check and done. So after seeing the spouting blowhole, we decided it was time for lunch. So we found this little place called The Crack. And I'm going to tell you, this was the best meal I had the entire time we were in Kauai. Of course, y'all know I love Mexican food anyhow, so that's probably why. But it was delicious. So we finished our day up by watching the sun go down before we headed back to the room to get ready for me to do my next race the next morning for our last and final day on the island. We enjoyed this day thoroughly. Even though I was exhausted from doing a half marathon, we got a lot of stuff in and truly enjoyed the scenery. Goodness gracious, this is a beautiful, beautiful place. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining me on part 2 of my Kauai, Hawaii adventure. Hope y'all enjoyed it, and I will be talking to y'all later. Bye.